Hello again, Scotch fans. We're here with a very well-regarded Speyside single malt, the Balvenie Doublewood. Speyside is a region of Scotch known for the two most popular single malts in the world, and two of the ones that are more reasonably priced, Glenlivet and Glenfiddich. I don't know if I posted my Glenlivet review. I haven't done a Glenlivet review, and it's a good value whiskey, is what I would say. If I had to summarize it, this is aged in what they call whiskey oak. I believe that means bourbon. And then some extra time is given to it in sherry. Typically, for instance, if you look at the Glenmorangie, I believe it's called the La Santa or something. I could be wrong on that. But the Glenmorangie the Glenmorangie sherry aged is too damn sweet. And a lot of the whiskeys I find that have been put in sherry cask are just too damn sweet. The sherry just overpowers it and takes away the better and more subtle whiskey flavor that the bourbon oaks give it. On nose, what the main thing you get: powerful honey and some straw. Whiskey burn, of course, is there. Start to smell the alcohol, but mainly honey and straw. On the nose, there may be a hint there of something of the sherry on the nose, because I'm trying to think, would I be able on the nose to tell this apart from Glenlivet? And I don't. Now, some of you probably can, and so you can look down on me for this, but I probably couldn't. This smells to me a lot like Glenlivet. And so let's take a sip. Slight honey. And interestingly enough, with this one, it's almost balanced by the sherry sweetness. The honey and the sherry kind of combine for this overall flavor, and then that nestles around the straw. Let's take another sip of that. You kind of get the honey, then the sherry kind of comes up behind it. Let's cut this a little bit. Now, Balvenie, I had one of these at a whiskey bar, or actually a friend had it, and he shared it with me. I was trying bourbons. But I had one of these at a whiskey bar with some friends, and in Seattle, actually. I forget what the name of the whiskey bar is, but it's there's some great whiskey bars in the country. I wish I could do some reviews from them. And there's a great one in Savannah, for instance. And so I had this, and I recall it being really good. And it was one he liked, and he wasn't typically someone who really liked Scotch. He was much more of a bourbon drinker. And on having, I agreed, man, that is good. And I think if you're a bourbon drinker, the Speysides are really nice ones to go with. I think for whatever reason, that honey kind of flavor with the straw and everything is gonna appeal to a bourbon fan, and this one certainly does. It's very impressively balanced. Once I drink it, you get a little burn there. No flavor comes out to you. The sherry is almost like warming around the edges there. It's not really, and it's not as powerful. For instance, the Glenmorangie. You wonder if Glenmorangie would be better served keeping cutting in half maybe the time they put theirs in a sherry, and because I get the sense that here you've got a little extra layer of complexity on the normal space side base, which is really delicious. Whereas there, all the subtlety that you associate with the Glenmorangie brand is kind of killed for the sherry, and all you're tasting is basically a sherry. And guys, whiskey tastes better than sherry, at least in my opinion. You're free to disagree. Well, this is a really nice achievement. I've had better. Now the question here is a matter of value. I believe this was $47, $48. I got it on sale. I think it was 47, then it was $1 off, and then I had a 10% off thing, so I ended up getting it for about 40 for a 750 milliliter bottle. That is not that bad, but I think the 46 I couldn't strongly recommend it at that price. Well, I recommend it once. I mean, this is worth trying. Buy a glass. If you're at a bar, you see it, buy a bottle. If you haven't tried it before, it is well worth the time. But I am unsure that it can get into the regular rotation, at least for this whiskey drinker, until the price goes down. And I don't expect the price to ever go down, which means it will probably never get in my regular rotation. If it was the same price as Glenmorangie, it might. Because in some ways I like this more than the Glenmorangie original, which is kind of my standard single malt that I keep around because it's a little cheaper. Again, this is a very good example, especially if you want to see a one where you can tell what the sherry's adding, but the sherry's not overpowering things. This is a good example, and if you get the Lasanta, if I'm assuming that's right, I'm probably butchering the pronunciation. I apologize. But if you get that one, and again, I may review that. That's a nice example of one where the sherry's just killing a great whiskey. And so you want to really see, how aging can go awry. What you might do is buy the Glenmorangie original, the Glenmorangie sherry aged, and then the Doublewood, and have them one at a time. First the Glenmorangie, then the Lasanta, then the I believe, or the and then finally finish off with the Doublewood. And what I think you'll come is, that Glenmorangie, that's a nice complex little whiskey. The Lasanta, that's too sweet. Now that's much better with the Doublewood. Well, we're trying again. Price of scotches I tend to find, while I love scotch, scotch is overpriced. But this is good. Mildly recommended due to price concerns that I am always aware of. Anyway, that's all I got. Thanks.